But I think that there's so many people right now that are like excited and they're like new to this and they're like diving in so hard and they're like, I'm going to, do this and this and this and this and this, and I'm going to spend all my money on this. And, this supplement and this biohacking device and blah, 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 blah. And it's just, at some point you get tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not doing it in a way that is sustainable and I mean, for some personalities, this is more true than others, but, slow and steady wins the race. Like,
yeah. Mamas, I can help you improve your family's health with my 5-week online course, Real Food, Real Families. It even has 5 weeks worth of meal plans. So check out nourishthelittles.com and use the code NTL10 for 10% off. Welcome to Modern Ancestral Mamas. We are Corey and Christine, two millennial moms on a mission to bring ancestral wisdom to modern motherhood. There's no way.
Record, and you just didn't realize I pushed it, and
I think so. Yeah.
Sorry.
I was like, oh shoot, we're recording. Okay, I'm on. Welcome back, ma'am listeners. So good to have you guys here with us today. We are continuing our little mini series of What Can I Eat? And if you're a new listener, you have to go back and listen to the previous episodes. We're actually doing this series for a second time. So this was one of the very, very first series we ever did when we started podcasting about 3 or 4 years ago. Now at this point, 3 years ago, back with really poor audio quality and
no video
and no video. And we didn't really know what we were doing, but that's okay.
We really didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, fair warning. If you're brave enough to go all the way back to episode number 12 and listen to it, we just give you that little disclaimer.
So we are now re-recording this because this is literally one of our most requested subjects. Aside from having Mary Ruddick on to talk about every single little thing under the sun, the What Can I Eat series is one of our most requested subjects. So previously we did the whole series back 3 years ago. And then now as we're restarting the series, so our like round 2 of this, is we have previously published breakfast. What can I eat for breakfast?
Which is episode 67, just so you guys know. So that's the most recent one. So definitely go back and listen to that one. Okay.
No, it's not the most recent one. The most recent one would be what can I eat for dinner? Or sorry, lunch.
This is dinner.
I know. Sorry. Okay. So we did what can I eat for breakfast? Then we did what can I eat for lunch? Now we're doing what can I eat for dinner today. And then next time we'll do what can I eat for snacks or dessert?
So after dinner, it's snacks, then dessert, then drinks.
Right. Okay.
All of those are coming up, guys.
Those will be coming up in the pipeline. Be sure to stay tuned for those. And we'll talk about all sorts of ways to make those things fit into your desired lifestyle and dietary choices.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for being here with us today as we dive into what can I eat for dinner?
Okay, so we usually start the show with a question, which I don't think we did that back then when we originally started recording it. And sometimes we skip it because it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But today, the question is, what was your go-to dinner before you started doing Weston A. Price style food, or before you were crunchy, or so like maybe in college? Like, what was your go-to dinner back then?
Oh, geez. That's a very good question. Okay.
True confessions.
Yeah, no, this is very much true confessions. So in college, I lived with 3 other girls. I don't think that they listen to this podcast. We had a great time. We're not really in each other's lives anymore, but one in particular was all about the fat-free movement. And that was the first time I had ever heard anything about fat-free or knew that was a thing. And so everything she bought.
Wait, what? How did you never encountered that?
No, because my parents never talked about fat-free. Yes.
But you went to a public high school, didn't you?
No, I never went to a public. I went to a private school.
Private school. There were no girls in your private high school that were...
I don't remember. That's the thing. I don't remember anybody talking about like, oh, I'm eating this because it's fat-free, or I'm eating this because fat is bad for you. No, it wasn't until college, and my college roommate talked about it all the time because her dad was an ER doctor, and her dad was like, oh, fat is so bad for you. Like, fat will kill you. So literally everything in their home was fat-free. And that was literally the first time that I was like, that's interesting. And remember, I grew up drinking raw milk. Like, yes, we had a lot of processed foods in our home, but my mom was still buying raw milk, and we were still getting eggs from a farmer and meat from a farmer for the most part. So like, we weren't trying to avoid fat. Anyway, so this roommate, very much into fat-free and very much into boxed, pre-prepared foods. So I'll never forget, like, a typical college meal was a box of rice-a-roni, which we thought was so healthy and like so good for us. And we would get like the different flavors of rice-a-roni and maybe like chicken tenders. We also really liked the dinosaur chicken nuggets from Tyson. Don't even get me started on those. So we'd probably eat chicken nuggets and rice-a-roni and maybe some vegetable. And the other friend was studying nutrition and dietetics to be a registered dietitian. And so there was definitely some real foods, but there was still a lot of boxed stuff. Remember boxed rice-a-roni? I remember the boxed rice, Uncle Ben's boxed rice, I think it was. Mashed potatoes from a box. Yeah, we had a lot of packaged foods.
You know what's so funny about rice-a-roni? Somebody asked me to recreate rice-a-roni in like a real food way. And I don't know that I'd ever eaten it before. So I'm like, I can't recreate that because like I have no idea what it tastes like. But I did a little research to try and figure out if I could recreate it. And it's not rice, it's pasta.
Exactly. I was waiting for you to say that.
My mind was blown. I was like, I had no idea.
I know. Ma'am, listeners who, grew up in the 80s and 90s, I'm dying to know. Do you guys know what rice-a-roni is? Leave us a comment.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I mean, I knew what it was, but I had never had it. Okay, wait, I'm so fascinated that you never had heard of the fat-free thing. Like, where were you in the 90s?
Seriously. I was in my own little...
homeschooled and I knew all about this stuff.
I know. I was in a bubble. I also think of myself as very not connected with what was going on in the world.
That's so interesting.
Like flighty and just like in my own world, literally.
You're in your own bubble?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My go-to in college would have been either this is so bad. Cocoa Puffs.
Oh, the cereal?
The cereal.
Okay.
For dinner. And I probably would have eaten like 3 bowls. I would have been like, I'm only going to eat 1 bowl. And then I would have eaten like 3 of them because.
Totally. Because you can't stop at 1.
And there's no nutrients in it. So it's like your body's like, no, I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
I would have had it with whole milk because I grew up on whole milk and the other stuff tastes like water.
Totally.
And it would have been organic because I discovered in college that organic milk lasts longer. The like ultra high processed
organic.
pasteurized, ultra high pasteurized milk lasts longer. So I could buy, technically it was more expensive, but like I was just one kid and I wasn't going to go through a huge, amount of milk. So if I bought the organic stuff, it lasted like 2 months or something ridiculous. So it was either that or like some really wimpy salad. If I was like, I'm going to be, going to eat well, it would have been like, this was our go-to salad in my house, with my 3 roommates too. We would have eaten like some romaine lettuce with cheese, and it was probably like a pretend fake, like, fat-free cheese, and cranberries, and then we would have used just balsamic vinegar and no olive oil and no salt. Like what the heck? I'm sure it didn't taste very good. And I'm sure that my body was like nutrient starving.
I was about to say, I go back and I think of these meals and I really do think we're nutritionally starving. Like totally.
Like sometimes when I would go through a drive-through and buy fried chicken or something like that, because I would never have bought a burger from a fast food place. I would have only have bought chicken.
Interesting.
And I was very particular about the chicken that I bought. So I would never buy the chicken from a fast food place that was ground up. So I wouldn't have gotten like chicken nuggets or those patties or anything like that. I would have gotten like a chicken strip or something that looked like chicken, because I was weirded out about like what could they put in something that's ground up, which is why I would never have gotten a burger either.
Wow.
Because there was rumors about them putting weird things in the ground up meat. I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I was going to say that like that probably saved me at least a little bit. And I know that, I'm not advocating for eating fast food all the time, but in what else I was eating, like there was probably more nutrition in those fast food chicken strips than in my wimpy salad.
Yeah. I mean, if I think back to college, that's for sure true. So I went to school in San Antonio, and Taco Cabana is like a really big thing down there.
Oh, yeah. I've been to Taco Cabana.
I loved Taco Cabana. And I would have their breakfast tacos, potato, egg, and cheese, potato, egg, and sausage. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot more protein than I was eating regularly.
Otherwise.
As depressing as that sounds. Oh my gosh. So bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
But
okay, so now that we have confessed our sins.
I know, right? I think that I want everybody to know that this is where we started out, guys. Like we're, we are not, and we're not perfect at all. And it has taken us that many years to get to where we are today. So for anybody who is starting out for the first time, you're okay. It's baby steps.
Oh, yeah.
This is a journey.
For sure. And I don't think, I don't even think that, now perfection is not my goal. I can't. I've just recently started connecting with more of the crunchy moms. Like, I don't know, that term feels sometimes really silly, but in my area locally. And we kind of have like a group text thread, and somebody asked on it the other day, what do you do to detox the chemtrails that you see in the sky? And I was like, oh my God, I don't even think about it. I just can't.
Yeah.
Because it would stress me. I would have too much stress that would then be the equivalent of whatever toxins they're spraying around.
Yeah.
And I think that actually, let us know in the comments if you guys would like this, but I would really like to do a episode on crunchy mom burnout, because I think that is happening. And I would love to do an episode on it. So let us know if you think that would be a good idea, if you'd like to listen to that. But I think that there's so many people right now that are like excited and they're like new to this. and they're like diving in so hard, and they're like, I'm going to, do this and this and this and this and this, and I'm going to spend all my money on this. And, this supplement and this biohacking device and blah, 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 blah. And it's just, at some point, you get tired of it. And if you're not doing it in a way that is sustainable and I mean, for some personalities, this is more true than others, but, slow and steady wins the race. Like,
yeah.
There's a reason that most people who go on a diet, and I'm not saying that a real food lifestyle is necessarily a typical American diet culture sort of diet. But there's a reason that people who go on a diet and lose weight and do all of that thing, they usually within 2 years of doing that will have gained back all of that weight plus some. And it's because it's not a sustainable choice. So if you're not doing something in a way that is sustainable, and you're like stressing yourself out about the chemtrails and then you're blowing all your budget on grounding sheets and wide box toe shoes and whatever, which I'm not like, those are not bad things per se.
Yeah.
But you're going to get burnt out. Okay. That was not the topic of today's show.
No, wait, but I just want to put a pin on there really fast because it is a really good point, which is, I think it's not so much about, I think a way to not burn out is for it to become a lifestyle or to become a value system in your home. Like you have to pick and choose what really matters to you and integrate it into your life, like you said, in such a sustainable way that it becomes a lifestyle. And for some people, that might be the grounding sheets and that might be the barefoot shoes. Like, I just think there's so many people that we know that have their little niches, like Anya with the barefoot shoes. I'm August Wellness with like all EMF tech stuff.
Janine with her organ meats.
Raw optics guy with the blue blockers and sunlight, like, it's just like, I think every person picks what works for them. I don't know.
I think that's probably true. I think that I also think that you can slowly integrate these things.
Yeah.
Like if you find, and it can be anything, like if your journey starts with skincare and you dive hard into skincare, but you're still eating Doritos and popsicles every day, fine. Like dive hard into skincare. And then when you feel like you've gotten skincare, down pat, then move on to something else. And maybe that's barefoot shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Switched all of your shoes to barefoot shoes.
Which is very expensive, by the way, guys.
Right.
I want everybody to know
that because of it's very expensive.
Yes. I have been trying to do that for the past maybe like 3 to 4 years. And I think I own 5 pairs of barefoot shoes.
Right. See, that's the thing. And you're really into it. You're really into the sustainable fashion. You're really into the barefoot shoes and the fascia work and all of that. And you're still slowly working towards it. It's been, like you said, 3 years.
Yeah.
For me, I knew that plastic cutting boards were a bad idea for years before I stopped using them. Because it was one of those things where I was like, this is not where I'm ready to invest yet.
Yeah.
Literally this year, I got rid of my plastic cutting boards.
Yeah.
This year.
Wow.
I mean, should I have done it before? Yeah, probably. But, but like, it just wasn't the thing I was doing at that point, like I was doing other things.
This is not what we're here to talk about, which is so frustrating. But it's also, I think, I also don't like wasting things too.
That's it too.
You know what I mean? Like just because, let's say a cutting board or a cute pair of shoes or a t-shirt doesn't work anymore or is not the right fabric, I feel really bad putting it in a bag to go to Goodwill Because
Goodwill's probably just going to throw it out anyway.
Yeah, well, Goodwill is like swimming in donations because
Exactly.
everyone is donating their crap.
Which, can I side note that it is better to donate to local churches or local charity organizations other than Goodwill, because they have a better system of distributing their stuff.
Great.
Just side note. Okay, we've got to get back to dinner.
Yeah, you were here to talk about dinner, guys. Okay.
Oh, all right. So let us know in the comments if you want us to talk about, go into more detail on any of that, and we'll add that to our episodes to be recorded list. All right. So it is 11 a.m. Christine, do you want to say what you had for dinner or what you're planning on making for dinner tonight? Like what you had last night or what you're planning on having tonight?
Yeah, actually, I can do both. Okay. So last night we had for dinner a shrimp, pancetta, and pesto pasta.
Okay. I need to know. I need to know.
Yes.
What pasta did you use? Because I think everybody's going to want to know that.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Did you use like a wheat-based pasta or?
No, that's actually a really good question. Okay. So I sent my husband to the grocery store.
God bless our husbands.
Yes. I love my husband. And he picked up something that is a brand that we absolutely love, that is 100% safe, that we used a lot in the past when we were trying to be gluten-free. So it was Jovial's brown rice pasta, like spaghetti. Now, if it would have been me at the grocery store, I probably would have chosen an organic pasta from Italy. Because I don't necessarily need to be gluten-free.
Jovial is from Italy.
Yes, Jovial is from Italy. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I would have probably chosen a wheat pasta, an organic wheat pasta.
I really like their einkorn pasta, just for a side note.
Jovial's. I don't think I have, all I have is, or all I've seen, maybe I need to pay more attention. All I've seen is their gluten-free options.
They have really good einkorn pasta.
Oh, okay. So I need to look for that. But anyway,
it is harder to find in stores because I think that their niche in stores is gluten-free.
Yeah.
But I've ordered it, and
from
I
their
think
website?
They make a really good. I think I've ordered it through Azure Standard.
Oh.
But they make a really good wheat or einkorn, which is wheat pasta.
Right. Okay. So I need to look into that. Shout out to Azure and Jovial. Wait, one other thing that I want to say about this pasta actually is, so we have had Jessica Bullock from Red Moon Farm on, and she's a local
produce farmer.
Produce farmer. Thank you. I'm like, why can't I think of this word? She's a local Texas produce farmer. It was an incredible episode. We'll link that in the show notes. And I get her CSA boxes weekly when in growing seasons. And she had garlic scapes and gorgeous carrots, which I immediately fermented, but then I had all the carrot tops and I was like, oh man, I feel really bad putting this in the compost. So I turned the carrot tops and the garlic scapes into pesto.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And so then that's where in my head I was like, oh, I'm really craving like a pesto pasta, and I have shrimp and I have pancetta. Why don't I just throw it all together and make a pasta? And I actually think that we should talk about this, because I have 2 kids who claim that they adamantly despise pesto.
Really?
Yes. The 2 younger ones. I love pesto. Yeah. And everybody else in my family will eat pesto. And so I made this meal knowing that it was a risk, that it was likely that there would be 2 people who would say, I don't want to eat it. It's green. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that sounds about like what a child would say.
Yes. But one of them, who claims to have not liked pesto, served herself 2 bowls and ate 2 bowls of it and never made a peep out of it. And I also forewarned them. They saw it up on the meal board all week. Mm-hmm. We are eating this on Thursday. At one point, she asked me, are you going to make something different for me, or are you going to separate the pesto? And I said, I love you so much, but I want you to know that I am not going to separate the pesto. I'm going to mix it all in. And I think it's important that you go out of your comfort zone and you try it anyway. And she did. And then actually my youngest, who is, I mean, really he'll eat anything. I think he just is oppositional because he's 4. But he liked it as well, but he did grumble and say, why is it green? I don't eat green. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then he ate his plate without any complaints. So, but yeah, should we talk a little bit about like, what do we do? Well, you need to tell us about what you ate for dinner.
I mean, this is such a, like, I feel like there are a bunch of different directions we could take this and they would all be really valuable. I will just say very quickly that we had a very similar situation last night.
Ooh, yes, share.
Thursdays are our co-op days, and because of that, and we get home at like, I don't know, what time do we get home? Like 3:30 usually. And I am just mentally done. Like I'm just done. So I have taken to crock pot meals. And so yesterday I made a kind of like a goulash, which is like beef and some vegetables. So I use like onions and garlic and peppers and tomatoes, and then broth. And it's like simmers all day while we're at co-op, right? And cooks everything till it's really soft. So the peppers basically disintegrated. Like they were basically just the sauce. And everything was just very cooked down and all of that. And then I added pasta when we got to home. And it just soaked up all the broth, and it got kind of thick. And by the time we sat down to dinner, I had my 2 youngers going, I don't want it. It's all mixed together. Why didn't you cook the pasta separately? And sometimes, like if I make a meatballs and pasta and sauce, I will cook it all. Obviously, you cook it all separately. You don't cook that together. And I am fine with them eating whatever bits of that they want.
Yeah.
It's not all mixed up. But this was, and I said, no, this is what's made for dinner. You can choose to eat it or you don't, or not. And the older 2 sat down. They're like, ooh, this is really good. And I had one, my 7-year-old had said, I'm not going to eat tonight. And I was like, cool. And then she sits down and everybody's eating around her. And then she goes, maybe I'll just try a really small bowl. Can you give me a really small bowl of it? And then she proceeds to eat like a normal amount of food.
Totally.
Which is very similar to what happened with you guys. So I think we should 100% talk about do you make a separate meal for your kid who doesn't want to eat whatever is being served? Let's go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned you made her a small bowl of it, I remember that last night I served both of the kids who were uncertain about it a tiny amount. And when I say a tiny amount, I mean it was laughable how small I served them.
Yeah, the one that I gave my daughter, literally the bowl is like 2 inches across.
Yes.
Like it's so small.
Yeah. I think that this is something that parents need to understand, that you can do funny things like that. Like if you have a kid who you have an inkling that they might not like what you're going to give them, if you give them an absurdly small amount in a tiny, tiny little bowl, it suddenly becomes more lighthearted. And it's
not intimidating.
Yeah, obviously.
They're not looking at it going, I have to eat this full plate of something that I think is disgusting, regardless of whether it actually is disgusting or not.
Right.
It's just mental.
Yeah.
But they're not intimidated by it then.
Yeah, exactly. They're not overwhelmed. They're not intimidated. It becomes something to laugh at, because my daughter sat down and she was like, this is nothing. Why did you serve me so little? And I said, oh, I served you a little bit. Did I really? Like, oh, silly me. And then when she finishes it and she's like, can I have more? You're like, oh, of course. And
would you like an absurdly small amount again?
I know, right? Like it becomes a game. It's more of like, I don't know. I just think it's like lighthearted and silly and
And
just
there's no pressure.
yes, there's no pressure to it. But all of this to say, Corey and I really love The Division of Responsibility by Ellen Sater.
Yes.
And we think that this really helps manage meal times, which is basically the adults are in charge of what you're going to cook, what you're going to buy from the grocery store, when you serve the food, and what you serve essentially. So we're in charge of all of that. And then the
And
kids
where.
are, and where. Yeah, that's true. Where. Meaning like, are you going to eat at the dining room table or you're going to eat outside on a picnic, whatever.
Right.
And the kids are in charge of how much they eat and if they eat. And I think that if is really important too, because Corey said something about her 7-year-old saying, well, she's not going to eat tonight. And, it sounds like Corey was like, well, okay, that's okay. Yeah. Because that is their decision to make. If they don't want to eat, then they don't have to. It's kind of hard to sit at a table with 5 other people eating and decide you're not going to eat. Usually there's a little bit of peer pressure that encourages you to take a bite. But yeah, there's this idea of parents, it's not our responsibility to make our children eat.
Yeah. There's no forcing.
Yeah.
And literally, like, what do you, you're going to force, it's a coercion thing. You're either going to, the options are, you literally force feed them, right? Which depending on how stubborn your child is, I have some very stubborn children. Like, it would be a physical battle to make them try something they didn't want to try. Yeah. So it's that, or you use some sort of punishment-based forcing,
or manipulation, or
right.
reward system, or
right, which sets you up for all sorts of weird food relationships down the line.
Yeah.
And interpersonal relationships.
Totally.
Or you give up control, like the division of responsibility suggests, and you say to them, this is what is served, you may eat or not.
Mm-hmm.
Now, go ahead.
No, you said something earlier about what do you make different meals?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For kids. And I actually think that we could talk about that. What's the term? Short order cook, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think most parents would agree that as humans, we are all particular about certain things.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like I have a husband who doesn't eat eggs. I know Corey doesn't eat eggs.
You don't like quinoa, right?
I don't like quinoa. Don't ever serve me quinoa, people.
Thing. I'm going to make quinoa when you come visit.
I know, right? You can. If it's delicious, I'll eat it. But if it's not, I'm going to tell you.
This sucks.
Quinoa sucks. Sorry, folks. Okay. I have one daughter in particular who's extremely sensitive to spicy foods. And I get that because that was literally me at her age. Like if I saw a speck of pepper, it's like my mouth would be on fire. I'm like, I can't eat it. And then I have, 2 other family members, potentially 3 family members that are like, we love spicy food. Can you make it as spicy as possible? So actually, literally this week, I made chicken tikka masala one night, and the one child wanted it super spicy, and the other was like, it's going to be too spicy for me. I can't eat it. So I should have taken a video of it, but I literally had 2 separate pots going, and I had one pot with the spicy and one pot with the non-spicy.
Oh, wow.
And I don't often do this. I will most like 99% of the time just not put spices in food or put them to the side so whoever wants to add in can.
I was going to say that because my husband loves spicy food.
Yeah.
And I like somewhat. Like I'm not as hardcore as he is.
Yeah.
But I like, some spice. But and I think generally like we have, hot sauce, or we have this like stuff called hot salt, which is like just put it on top and it's dry.
Okay.
So if it's something like Ryan will put it on popcorn.
Oh, yum.
which you wouldn't want to put hot sauce on because it would make the popcorn soggy.
Totally.
So what I'm trying to say is, like, most of the time I would just say add it after the fact, like you're saying with the spices on the side. The problem is with Indian food is that those flavors take hours to develop and meld and all of the things. So you're right. The only way to do it would be to make 2 separate pots.
I know.
Okay. So would you consider that to be short order cooking?
I would not, because this is a preference. This is a very strong preference. I don't think that this is just like I'm a picky thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get that she has a preference to not eat spicy foods. Like, I get that. Probably because I lived it, so I understand it personally. But there's also little things. And I'm trying to think of like an example of a little thing. I think there's a difference between short order cooking and being aware of your family's different food preferences and showing them love through that.
Mm-hmm. Right. We talked about this on our episode with Deborah McNamara.
Mm-hmm.
Is that her name? No, now I'm
Yes.
blanking.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right?
Deborah McNamara.
Okay. She talked about that and how you can show love and respect to your family by doing those little things, and not necessarily short order cooking, but just recognizing that different people have different flavor or food preferences, and, not to just be a stickler to things.
Yeah. Like
I actually think that
if you came
I
over,
usually think, sorry, let me get this out.
Yeah.
If you are doing that sort of thing, it is not special treatment. It's a, you're not saying like, oh, you don't want what I made, I'll just make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's like a premeditated almost. I don't know if that makes it better.
No, it does. I think what you're trying to say is it's almost like being on the defense, maybe, or no?
Okay. All right. Say more.
So it is noticing your family's preferences, respecting them, and instead of having a battle about it after the fact, it's saying, hey, I know that you really don't like eggs, so I made you sausage and a smoothie for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
This is specifically for you because I know that you don't eat eggs.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to making an egg casserole and then having a child say, well, I don't want to eat this. Say, I don't know. Is that what? No, I think I totally butchered it.
No. I think there's value to be found there. I think it can be really difficult as a parent to come to the dinner table and then have your child be like, no, I don't want to eat this. Because it does not, it feels almost criminal to send your child to bed without dinner, right? Like, it feels wrong. So one thing that I will do is make sure that there is something served that I know each child will not be opposed to. Okay. So, oftentimes this is just a glass of raw milk. And we do talk about how milk is more than just a drink. There's, it's basically a mini meal with all the nutrients in it and stuff. So my kids know that if they choose to not eat dinner, they're allowed to go have that. Which I think, is important for them to also know that you're not just overstepping them. You're not just saying, well, forget you, like, don't care that you don't want to eat dinner. It's more of a loving sort of response. So it's more of a, okay, if you don't want to eat, this meal tonight with us, that's fine. Please come to the table, sit with us, enjoy family time, and you're welcome to help yourself to a glass of milk. Or would you like me to help you get a glass of milk? rather than just being like, you don't want to eat with us? Be gone with you. Banishment. I've seen this thing on Instagram from, I think she's a registered dietitian, but I think it's a really interesting way of approaching this problem that I think every parent faces.
Mm-hmm.
And that what she does is she says she is being considerate, not, what is the wording? Considerate, not, I don't know. It's basically considerate, not short order cooking. So it's along the lines of like, you're serving for breakfast, your choices are sausage, eggs, and fried potatoes and fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your child will eat the sausage and the eggs and the fruit, maybe not the potatoes. This is a bad example because who's not going to eat potatoes? But
I have a child that doesn't eat potatoes.
Okay. All right. Well, then say we're cooking it for your kid. And you make up 3 different plates. One has all the things on it. One has just the sausage and the fruit. And one has just the eggs and the sausage and the fruit and no potatoes. And you say, this is this is me being considerate of you.
This is what this registered dietitian is saying you do?
Mm-hmm.
Who has time for this?
No. Not that you're cooking all these separate things.
Oh.
You've cooked them all for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like you've planned your breakfast and this is what's on the menu: sausage, eggs, potatoes, fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you're saying, I made this plate for you. It has the 3 things from that menu that I know you're going to eat or that you've asked for. So it's the same concept.
I see what you mean.
It's the term considerate that I think is really helpful.
Yeah, I think that goes back to what
catering. Considerate, not catering. That's what it was.
Considering, not catering. Yes, I think that is a great way to describe what we were trying to say earlier, which is being aware of your family's food preferences and respecting them and serving them in that manner. That is considerate.
Yeah.
But then we will have the parent that says, but I have 4 kids and one doesn't like cucumbers, the other doesn't like potatoes, and the other doesn't like eggs, and the other doesn't like, cheese. Yeah. So it's like all of these little different things. And for the record, folks, 9 times out of 10, there will be somebody who complains about something and I serve it anyway. I don't care. Somebody will say, I thought I told you I didn't like X, Y, and Z.
Like every single meal.
Literally.
Every single day.
Meal. Yes. And this goes back to exposure. You just have to keep putting it in front of them.
Yeah.
Macienda makes nixtamalized heirloom corn masa. They work with small farmers all throughout Mexico, and they use traditional agricultural practices. And so we like Macienda because they sell their corn masa in different colors and, throughout the U.S., or you can purchase directly from their website. They have blue corn, yellow corn, red, and white. And this is so that you can make your own tortillas at home. And you can use the code MAM, M-A-M 10 for 10% off. And if you don't want to make your own tortillas, they also sell tortillas on their website. So it's macienda.com and the code is MAM10 for 10% off.
All right, our second code that we're going to share with you is from Seatopia. They sell sushi grade and snap frozen fish. So it's frozen at the peak of freshness, and it's all clean, certified clean seafood that is mercury safe and microplastic tested. So check out their website, seatopia.com. Is that right?
It's Seatopia Fish.
Fish.com.
Yeah. Hey guys, 2025 is the year for you to take control of your family's health. The first step is getting in the kitchen and cleaning out your pantry and fridge. Get rid of all of the processed crap. I can help you with my Real Food, Real Families online course. In just 5 weeks, I will walk you through all of the steps so you can start creating healthy, delicious meals for your family on a regular basis.
Go to nourishthelittles.com and click on the drop-down menu labeled Courses. Then click on Real Food, Real Families, and we're going to put a link in the show notes for you to use. Then use that code MAM10, that's MAM 10 for 10% off this course.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know.
And the phrase, not everything you eat has to be your favorite, has come in very handy in our house.
Oh, that is a good one. Not everything you eat has to be your favorite. I like, you don't like it yet. I literally said that yesterday. That there was I think one of my kids tried a radish and then spit it out and was like, what is this?
Oh, that is a violent reaction.
I know, right? Well, it was a pretty peppery radish.
Okay.
But anyway, he's like, oh, I don't like that. What is that? And I said, it's a radish and you don't like it yet, but you might like it one day.
My grandmother used to say that and it felt very condescending.
Maybe I need to work on my delivery.
Your kids may not take it that way. Being a very obstinate first child, was like, that's a dumb thing to say.
Screw you, Grandma.
Maybe I was a teenager at the time. I don't remember. I just remember being like, what? That's not how this works.
So
it's 100% how it works.
It is how it works. Oh yeah, you were totally a teenager. You thought you knew everything.
I definitely knew everything.
Wait, okay. Corey, I think that we should talk about, do you have a meal plan? Do you have a dinner meal plan? Do you follow a schedule?
Oh, two different things. I do not follow a schedule.
Ooh.
I do have a meal plan though. So I think we should talk about the differences between that because you follow a schedule. So tell us what a meal schedule is.
A meal schedule, I think, is...
Well, no. Okay. What is it for you?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So for me, poor Corey, she's heard this like for now 5 years. Nothing has changed. Is essentially there... I think of it as like a category of food. There's a category of food that we eat that is different every night of the week. So, for example, Mondays are organ meats, Tuesdays is chicken, Wednesday's soup, Thursday's seafood, Friday they go over to my mom's house, and usually Saturday and Sunday we're either doing stews or grilling. My husband will grill or smoke, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is not mine originally. I've said this before. I said this in the original episode. This is Janine from Awfully Good Cooking's dinner menu, which I adopted who knows how many years ago, and I have not changed it. I'm not a very creative person, and I like to borrow things from other people.
So this reminds me about, I don't know if people still do this, but there would be like themed nights for like, this is our Italian night. This is our Tex-Mex night. This is our Asian night. You could do that sort of theming as well.
Yeah.
Or really anything that you wanted to do along those lines. You could do like, this is our night that we try something new. I don't know, that sort of deal. I don't follow that because I get bored.
Oh.
So what I do usually follow is that we do leftovers on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a clean out the fridge night. And we do crock pot on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to change when we get into the summer because we won't have co-op during the summer.
Yeah.
And it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So, but otherwise, I just usually will make up my meal plan based on what we feel like eating, what's in season,
mm-hmm.
what I have in the fridge or the freezer that either needs to get used up or, I have it so I don't have to go buy it. Or what kids have requested. So I will keep a list on my phone of things that my family has requested, and I will try and work that into the next week's meal plan.
That is such a brilliant idea.
Oh, thanks.
So how does that work? Do you ask them, or they'll just like say off the cuff, man, I'm really craving whatever?
Either or.
Okay.
Often my son will have something that he really wants and he'll tell me, and often it is waffles. So, so that doesn't always happen because he literally will ask like every single week for waffles.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, no, man, like waffles are not something that I make very often because it's a lot of effort. Like you have to stand there and make each individual one. So that's not something that I normally make. But yeah, so then I have, when I go to sit down to make the meal plan, which I usually do my school week planning and my meal planning all at once.
That was going to be my next question is what does your meal planning process look like?
Okay, so I'll usually sit down on like Friday night.
Oh, dang, girl, you're way more.
And
wow, Friday night. Okay.
Well, it's either Friday night or Saturday, sometime during the day on Saturday. Okay. And I will write down, I'll like figure out, what needs to be used up, what I have already in the fridge and freezer and whatever. Look at my calendar because that really does make a huge difference for me. If I'm not home at like 4:00, making something from scratch feels overwhelming to me. So I look at my calendar and I go, okay, this day I have this, so we need to have a crock pot meal, or this day we are going to be actually at my mom's house for dinner, or something like that. So then I take that into account and then I just plan whatever I want to make. And I usually try and cycle through proteins, so we're not having beef every single night, even if that's what I would prefer to have every single night. And I try and think of like, okay, this night we're having tacos with rice and beans, and I'll double up the rice so that I can then make fried rice the next night or 2 nights away.
Oh, smart.
So that's the basic.
Do you like to go through cookbooks or like look online?
Yes.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah. I find myself, when you said something about like seasonal, yes, when I'm getting a produce box, it's harder for me to plan because I have to use the produce box. So a lot of what I'm making revolves around what's in it.
And that comes on what day?
It comes on Thursdays.
Okay. So you'd have to like get the box on Thursday and then plan Thursday night or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously you want to try and use it all up by like Wednesday at the latest because this stuff is so fresh. Yeah. Because you're getting another box on Thursday. So we had tons of salad greens this week. So I'm probably going to make a Caesar dressing and we'll be eating some Caesar salad for lunches probably sometime this week. Ooh, maybe I'll make croutons. Maybe I'll see if my mom has old bread. I can make croutons.
You're going to steal your mom's bread?
Yes, because I don't have any bread right now, but I am reviving my sourdough starter.
Yay!
And I know you asked at the beginning of the episode what I was having for dinner tonight, but normally on Friday nights, my kids go to my mom's house, so I don't have to worry about dinner. But we have a little event at one of my son's school tonight. And so we're going to do dinner at my house. And my sourdough starter was so happy this morning that I thought, let's have pancakes for dinner. So
Fun.
I'm going to do pancakes and bacon and eggs or whatever for dinner.
Cool. We're also going to do breakfast for dinner tonight.
Oh, really?
But I was going to do like a loaded breakfast bowl. So like potatoes.
Ooh, how do you do
peppers. That? You're just like, like what you would have, like potatoes and peppers and sausage and eggs for the people who want eggs. What else was I going to put in it? I don't remember. Probably like drizzle sour cream on top or something.
Oh, yum. So see, folks, you can also have breakfast for dinner, and you can also have dinner for breakfast.
Yes. Perfect. Oh, I dropped my phone. It has my
Let's
notes
talk a
on
little
it.
bit about finding community and dinner times.
Yes. Okay. Tell us
Well, so Corey and
your
I were
thoughts.
looking at our old outline for this episode that we did 3 years ago. And when we were reading through it, I realized that 3 years ago, I used to do a dinner trade with a friend. And I remember this very clearly. It worked for a few months. Maybe we did it for like 4 or 5 months or so. But basically, what we would do is one night a week, whatever we were making for dinner, we would double it. So let's say I'm making enchiladas for dinner one night, I would double my enchilada recipe and I would bring that to this friend's home and they would have that for dinner one night. And that friend would do the same thing for me. And so there would be one night a week where we wouldn't have to cook because we were trading meals. And it was a way for us to, I remember this was when both of our babies would have been like a year old.
Yeah.
So we were both kind of, both had babies at the time, younger kids. And we all know it's hard to get dinner on the table at, 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon when you've got a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old screaming. Bless you, mothers. We know this. We know what it's like. And so it was a way to help each other out. And this is when Corey and I realized, wait a second, each of us are doing something similar in our lives today, 3 or 4 years later.
Different.
Um,
Yeah, so it's kind of evolved
mm-hmm.
or changed. So my family has started, and I know you guys have heard me talk about this before. My mom hosts dinner most Tuesday nights, not every single Tuesday, but most Tuesday nights. My mom hosts dinner at her house, and it is always the same thing. So she's not reinventing the wheel. It's always tacos, and it's always like literally the same every time. And my my parents are there, my aunt, my grandmother, my brother and his wife and their new baby are some friends of ours that live down here, who are basically like family. And it's, I don't know that my mom intended this when she started it. She may have just been like, I just want to have family meals together, which is beautiful, and a perfect motivation, on its own. But it has been such a good thing for me to just have that one night a week that I don't have to be, worried about cooking. I don't have to be worried about making sure I have the ingredients for, whatever. Like it's just the one night where I have off.
And your kitchen stays clean too.
And my kitchen has off. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's so nice. And I think that you could pull that off. Like say you live somewhere you don't have family around. I think you could pull it off with friends.
Or neighbors.
Or neighbors, exactly, if you wanted to. It may require you to kind of step out of your comfort zone. And you may have to start it. You may have to be the one that invites the people over. And maybe it's just once a month, or maybe it starts at once a month and then it grows to more than that. But I think it could be done if you don't have family around too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's so important for not just relationship building, but also for kids to go over to somebody else's house and practice manners and practice eating at somebody else's house, no matter what they've served, being grateful, just all the things. And obviously it gives moms a break from cooking. So yeah, I very much look forward to Fridays when I know I don't have to worry about what I'm making on a Friday evening.
Wait, so what do you eat then? Or do you go eat at your mom's house?
I'll often eat, yeah. Oftentimes we'll eat with my mom, or we'll just come home and eat leftovers. Or sometimes, I mean, if we decide we're going to go out to eat, sometimes we'll go out to eat. But yeah.
The other thing that I have done along these lines of like a community thing is I have done community batch cooking, like stock your freezer type thing. So I think it was my sister. I think it's really only ever been my sister that I've done this with, but she's come over, and we've made a bunch of different kinds of things. We've made some things that are like those crock pot dump meals, where they're all in a bag in the freezer, and then all you have to do is dump it in the crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
We've made pupusas. I don't even remember, like lots of different things like that can just stock up your freezer. Mm-hmm. And if you could work it out, like doing something like that would be amazing for your family's food, your freezer stash, your hormones. Like these are all, that's the kind of thing that Mary Ruddick talks about. It's great to just like sit and not have an agenda, but that's very difficult in our world.
Yeah.
So making time to have that female interaction and like letting the kids run feral, like while you're doing stuff, that is so good for us as women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I remember you talking about that actually in the initial "What Can I Eat for Dinner" episode. Mm-hmm. You described it really well. Is there anything else we want to talk about dinner? Any other like dinner hacks we can give to people?
Okay, I think I want to say that it doesn't have to be fancy.
Yeah.
Like there's Instagram makes us feel like, and Pinterest and whatever makes us feel like meals have to be fancy or complicated or whatever. And a lot of times, depending on who you're following or what shows up in your algorithm, there will be people who are like, all you need to eat is a piece of steak and 2 raw eggs and to be healthy. And those are the people I want to scream at and be like, you're helping no one. No one.
And you don't have kids. Like you have to feed children. We have children we need to feed.
Right. And like it's okay for it not to be a fancy meal. Like having, some roasted potatoes and sausage and eggs. Like that's a perfectly fine meal. And it doesn't have to be beautiful. If you want to make it beautiful, great. That's wonderful. If that's like how you're going to express your creativity, that's amazing. But if it feels overwhelming to you, just don't overcomplicate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, simplicity is gourmet. Hillary Boynton says that a lot. And it's so true. Just protein, veggies, starch. You're good.
Yeah. All right. We're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
You ready? This is fun because Christine doesn't have any idea what's coming. It's actually really not fair because I write the rapid fire questions and you're like, you get to answer them without, pre-thinking anything. And
I know you've pre-thought your
I've
answers.
already seen them.
So maybe next time we switch it up and
okay.
Yeah.
We should do that. Okay. Favorite comfort dinner. Okay. When you're about to start your period, what is it that you want to eat?
Oh. Oh geez, this is really hard.
Is it really?
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Okay, favorite comfort dinner. Like a burger with mayonnaise, and I really don't know, actually.
Okay, that's really interesting.
I know, I'm like really trying to think, okay, what would be like my favorite meal?
I didn't expect this to be such a
my
difficult
favorite
one.
meal, or one of my favorite foods is pasta carbonara,
Oh,
but I don't make that very
yum.
often.
It doesn't have to be that you make it very often. It would just be,
I love
what's your
that.
favorite?
What about you?
Probably steak and mashed potatoes.
Okay, yeah. See, I was going to say, like, actually, I really would love just like a burger with tons of mayonnaise and avocado and cheese, and like,
Yeah, that would probably be second on my list. Like a really good bacon cheeseburger.
Yes. Totally loaded. Yes, bacon, cheese, mayonnaise, avocado, tomatoes, all the things. Yes.
It's really funny. Ryan and I have a joke that we could go to like any restaurant, doesn't matter how fancy it is, and both of us will be like, I think I'm just gonna have the burger. Almost every time. Unless, I will say this, unless there is a Reuben on the menu, that's the other joke. If there's a Reuben on the menu, I can't help myself. I'm like,
is that the one where
only
you dip
ever.
in the juice?
No, that's a what's that one called? It's like a steak or something one. No, the Reuben is it has rye bread, sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, Thousand Island dressing.
Oh,
or
I have
that
never
sort of
had
thing,
this.
and pastrami.
Oh,
Or corned beef.
interesting.
Ooh, which one is it? Might be corned beef. Yeah, maybe. I can't remember if it's pastrami or corned beef.
Okay.
Like New York Jewish deli, best thing ever. Okay, next one. Least favorite meal for dinner, either to cook or to eat.
Anything that is not seasoned or salted well enough.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Yeah. Or quinoa.
Or quinoa.
A salad. I don't think I would eat a salad for dinner.
Even if it's like loaded up with stuff, or just like.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not enough for me.
I'm going to skip this one because everybody knows that fish is like my nemesis on that front. Like a brothy fish meal, that would probably be my least favorite thing, because like if it was just straight, I said I was going to skip it and now I'm answering it. If it was just like a straight fish fillet, then I could eat it and like wash it down with something to drink.
Okay.
But if it's brothy, it like gets in your whole mouth.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You can't like just swallow it really quickly.
Okay. I killed the rapid fire questions. Hopefully these next ones are better.
So
I'm really sorry. Okay.
All right. Do you cook when your husband is not home? I know your answer.
Yes.
Like a full meal.
Yes. Because I like eating.
I get so lazy when Ryan's not home. So like I definitely will cook, but I'm like, what is the least amount of effort I can put into this? Which is totally not fair because he is one person out of 6.
Yeah.
Like that is not fair to my house.
Oftentimes my husband will say, you make all the delicious foods when I'm gone.
Oh,
I don't think I do that, but I don't know.
Okay. The last one, we'll just do one last. What is your favorite cuisine? Like
seafood.
That's not no. Like regional cuisine.
Regional cuisine?
Like Italian or
probably
Spanish. French?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you make a lot of French food? French food's so involved.
No, I don't think so. Although I need to pull out Julia Child's book and start cooking from it again. But yeah.
I like never make any of it because it's like
it's so complicated.
Simmer this for 72 hours.
I know, right? Although I did make her beurre blanc sauce sometime last year, and I remember thinking, now I understand why she's so obsessed with it. I wanted to drink it. It was the most delicious thing in the world. So I need to do it again. And it was fairly simple.
Yeah.
But yeah. I love all the creamy, the fatty. Oh, so good. What about
I'm
you?
going to say Indian.
Indian.
Or Greek.
Oh, geez. Oh, Greek. Indian. Indian and Asian terrify me.
Oh, to make it?
Yes,
No,
they're
Indian
so
is not
hard.
my favorite to make. It's very difficult.
Oh, it's your favorite to eat.
Yes,
Indian is your favorite to eat. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no, not mine.
I love it. I love the sauces that like coat all the vegetables and the meat and the rice and the like scoop it up with the
naan
and all the spices, and the flavors are so deep and so developed. It's so good.
Yeah, that is true.
Honestly, I could probably like list off. I love Ethiopian food. I love a good like pub, like English pub style, like shepherd's pie or something. Like,
oh yeah,
I
forgot about shepherd's pie.
I just really I really like food.
No, same. I do too. I'm over here thinking like it's really hard for me to choose what's my favorite because I just really enjoy eating.
Yeah. I know my kids will ask me, what's your favorite thing to eat? Like, cause Mother's Day is coming up, at least when we're recording this, it's this weekend.
Yeah.
And, my kids are always like, what's your favorite thing to eat? What do you what can we make you is basically what they're saying.
Totally.
Which is so sweet.
I know.
But I'm always like, I just couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
That's why I can't meal plan more than like a week in advance.
Same. Yeah.
Because I want to be able to eat all sorts of different things, and I want to be able to kind of go, this is what sounds delicious this week, or whatever.
I was going to end this show by asking you, so what are you going to make next week, Corey?
I have not planned it yet. It is too early on this Friday to have already done that.
I know what I'm doing one day.
Okay, what are you doing one day?
You're going to laugh. Okay.
Fish.
No, well, I am nearing the end of my fish supply. Okay. So I have to do that. But when we were in Colorado and Janine made the kidneys, the kids loved them so much that I ordered kidneys from the farmer for the following week. And I didn't make them this week because we just did a ground organ meat blend this week. But my 11-year-old saw it in the freezer and he was like, "Are you going to make these next week?" And I was just like,
"Oh, her deviled kidneys that she makes." Is that what it was?
No, she grilled them on the grill with this insane spice mixture, and they were so good. And then just like sliced long and thin, and served it with chicken as well, and it was really good. All my kids were like, "This is delicious." So I know Monday night I'm going to be making grilled kidneys on the grill with chicken. I need to get some chicken this weekend.
Kidney is like really not my favorite.
It was my least favorite too, but every time I eat at her house, it's delicious. So.
Okay. All right. So then we have to know if you can pull it off, or if Janine just has magic. Maybe that's the truth. Janine just has magic.
Likely.
That she hasn't let us on, clued us in about yet.
I know.
Okay. I think we're done. We've gotten through all the things on our second round of dinner.
I know. What can you eat for dinner? Before we end the show, we just want to thank everybody for staying this long and listening to our rambling. And if you feel inspired, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you want. We read them. We love them. Also, give us a 5-star rating. This helps other people find the show. It helps boost us in the algorithm. Please share it with your friends and family members. We love what we do, and we want to hear from you guys, and thank you.
And please, if you need anything that we have had the privilege of advertising, please use our codes and stuff, because that really does help us, and it helps. I know it may seem trivial, but it really, really helps for our advertisers to see that y'all are coming from us. So use those codes or those links.
Which are in the show notes.
Which will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we've got. So thank you very much for listening. You can follow Christine at Nourish the Littles. You can follow me at For Nutrient's Sake. You can follow the show as a whole at Modern Ancestral Mamas. You can watch it on YouTube, listen to it wherever you get podcasts. And that is it. So thank you very much.
Bye.
Goodbye.